Happy 4th of July weekend. How are you guys doing tonight? Let's see here. Tonight is our first live hangout on TSP Entertainment. And aside from just kind of getting to know some of the settings and everything that we have within YouTube Studio, wanted to talk a little bit about our movie rating system that we use within Letterboxd. And we just finished a video and posted it earlier in the week where we went over all of the details on how I use and score rank all of the movies that I list and keep organized within Letterboxd. So what I thought would be kind of fun is, why don't we go ahead and pop that up into, got 300 tabs open here, of which I don't see my Letterboxd. I know it's there because I'm looking at it. Here we go. See? No need to panic. We've got it up. And what we had talked about was it's really kind of, when I walk out of a movie theater, when I'm done streaming, when I'm done putting in that physical media into the DVD, Blu-ray, 4K player, what goes through my head when it comes to ranking all of the movies? Because sometimes when you think about it, if you know Letterboxd, you have 1 to 5 star scores, and you can do half star scores, right? And for some people, you start thinking about it and you overthink the whole process of ranking your movies. And I think that I've developed a system that goes hand in hand with being somewhat simple, not locked into where it is a dynamic system, to where if you change your mind down the road, you can certainly change your rating score. You know what I'm saying? So I've got the wrong Letterboxd up here. Or how do I score something like that? So when I'm coming out of a movie, right, the first thing that I am going to ask myself, did I enjoy the movie? And do I have any desire to watch that again? And it's really simple. If you say you did enjoy that movie and have a desire down the road that you would watch that movie again, you are automatically at the 3-star level. That's kind of my average good movie. You enjoyed it when you watched it and you have a desire to watch it down the road. If your answer to that question is no, you did not enjoy that movie, or that you really have no desire to watch that movie down the road, then you're definitely under a 3-star movie. So you would go and mark it as a 2-star movie where you didn't like that movie. Okay. And we'll get into half stars here, because half stars are actually very important in my system. Now, something like, how do you know if you're a 3-star from a 4-star or a 5-star? Okay. So a 4-star movie from a 3-star. 4-star movie, you're actively thinking about this movie hours, days, weeks after you've watched it. You're thinking about the characters, you're thinking about the storylines, and it's something that you had connected with. If that is the case, you are considering this as a 4-star. Not so much that you just like the movie or that you would watch it again, because there's several to where you like it, you would watch it again, and then you don't even think about it. Driving to work, driving to somebody's house, whatever. You don't think about it, right? So that's going to be the difference between a 3 and a 4-star movie. A 4-star movie is going to be one that you've thought about, you think about afterwards, in addition to You have this desire to want to share that with somebody else. You want to recommend that movie to somebody else. There's movies that I like that I'm like, I'm not going to recommend that movie to anybody else because it's something that I'm like, yeah, I think I would just like it. It's stressful when you recommend things to other people, especially movies and music, right? Because what happens if they don't like it? You take that personal. So the difference between a 3-star and a 4-star movie in my system that I have developed. If you liked it and you would watch it again, automatic 3-star at the very least. If you're thinking about it afterward, hours, days, weeks, characters, storylines, things about the plot, just some things you just can't shake, and you would recommend that movie to somebody else, that is a 4-star movie. Now, that very, very top 5-star category in my system that I have for Letterboxd, my 5-star category of movies, I limit myself to 10 movies at any one time. I cannot have more than 10. And so as we go here, I'm going to change this over to where it's just going to pull my 5-star movie. And you can see that there are only 5 movies in this category. I have essentially 5 open spots to pick from on movies that I have rated in the 4-star area that I am going to consider for those final 5 spots. And here's the fun thing with my 5-star movies. My 5-star movies, once I fill up all 10 of these spots, if I come across another movie that I'm like, oh man, that belongs in that upper echelon of movies. This is a special movie. In my system that I have to pull a movie out to put that movie in. Pretty rough, pretty tough. I'm holding myself accountable that those 10 movies that I have rated as 5 stars are, for me, like the perfect movies for me that I just connect with, that just say something for me. Now, my 5-star could be a little different than your 5-star, but in my world and how I rate them, 5-star movies are one to where I have spent so much time, brain power over the years and just considering the different aspects of the movie. I've done some research on the movie. I think about the characters, the storylines. I am emotionally vested in these movies. Not once when I'm watching a 5-star movie in my list do I have my phone out and I'm like, you know how we are nowadays, to where you're watching something on TV, streaming, whatever, and you're kind of halfway paying attention. 5-star movie, that doesn't happen. That does not happen on 5-star movies. So one of the unique things that I have on mine, and it's an arbitrary number of 10. You can have more than 10, less than 10. You set it. I'm just giving you the process by which to evaluate and hold yourself accountable. But over the course of the next, I would say, month or so, I am going to revisit a handful of 4-star movies to fill out my 10 spots that I have. And as we're sitting here, we're watching, or we're looking here at the Letterboxd and all of the ads that are popping up. This is one of the reasons why I think I need to buy a subscription to Letterboxd, just to get rid of these ads, because they kill me. It's just, any website that's like this that has these pop-up ads is just awful. It's got to be worth whatever the cost is per year. So what movies am I going to consider for these final 5 spots? Well, great thing with Letterboxd is we can go and set our range, and I'm going to set mine to the 4.5 stars. So these 4.5-star movies are going to be at I am considered for those final 5 spots. Now, some of these that you'll see are documentaries, and I haven't quite really thought it out too much as far as am I going to let documentaries play with movies. There's going to be some analysis, some kind of brain cells I'm going to have to devote to be like, okay, well, what differentiates them from a documentary, and am I going to hold all of them the same or not? I've kept it pretty simple. If the movie document, if it's just listed within Letterboxd, I'm going to treat it and rate it the same. In the case of these 5 stars, I don't think I'm going to put a documentary up at the 5-star. So that's automatically right now going to we're going to rule out The Beatles Get Back. Peter Jackson's just absolutely brilliant documentary on the Beatles that you can watch on Disney Plus. McCartney 321, another documentary, fantastic. And I'm new to the Beatles. It's kind of Beatles heavy here. You're seeing something. There's a George Harrison documentary here that's 4.5 stars. Oddly enough, I'm 50. I just turned 50. I just recently got into the Beatles because of that Peter Jackson documentary when it came out. And I have gone headfirst into everything. It's so fascinating. Growing up, even as an 80s baby, I was born in 75. I consider myself an 80s baby. The Beatles were so history books. Never really listened to them. My first real exposure was George Harrison's Got My Mind Set on You in the 80s. And I just knew him as like one of those old guys on the Beatles that at the time had a great song. So his documentary is up here as 4.5 stars. So those I'm going to rule out as a 5-star for now. So these are the movies that I'm going to have to pick from to fill those final 5 spots to give me 10 at the moment. And I can change my mind going forward. I can change my mind, re-rate things, because we afford that to ourselves as we get older. And I have done that myself. That my tastes have changed, things that I appreciate change. There's some things that I didn't understand in a lot of movies, a lot of pieces of music that I was just too young to really get that I appreciate nowadays. So we can always change our mind. But my goal over the next month or so is to find these final 5 movies out of this grouping here. So that would be 1917. Sam Mendes is 1917. I love it. I am glued to that. I am glued to how it was made, the behind the scenes of how it was made. That movie is absolutely gorgeous. And it's a high contender to take one of those spots. Interstellar, I mean, so good. I even have the soundtrack for it. I just bought the soundtrack for it a couple months ago. I think my wife got it for me for my birthday, actually. Absolutely love Interstellar. Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows, that's probably my favorite Harry Potter of all of them. This is the time travel one. And it was done so well. I love I love every movie in the Harry Potter franchise. Every one of them was done so well, which is crazy to think because as I'm like a Star Wars fan, right? Or I think I was. I kind of question it nowadays. There's a lot of Star Wars that I like, a lot of Star Wars that I don't like or I'm indifferent to. The Harry Potter series, I like them all. They did a fantastic job with those movies. So for one movie to stand out above and beyond for me and the Deathly Hallows, that's a definite 4.5 for me. So That was Deathly Hollows. I also it was Prison of Azkaban. I'm sorry, Prison of Azkaban is the one that was the time travel. So both those movies, Deathly Hollows Part 2 and Prison of Azkaban. So everything that I said, I had mixed up my thumbnails as I was looking at them. But Prisoner of Azkaban is the one, the time travel one that I think is for me the top one. Deathly Hollows Part 2. But even as the kids got older in Harry Potter and how dark it got and more mature, I love it. Love it. And they did such a great job with that. Lost in Translation. Talk about a movie that I don't think a lot of people, other than like super movie fans or maybe Bill Murray fans, but I don't know. I just don't know a lot of people that have seen this movie. And this was, I think, Scarlett Johansson. You know, she was like 17 or 18. It was kind of crazy that she was paired up opposite of Bill Murray. But every time since then, since I've watched the movie for the first time, Lost in Translation, it's just a beautiful, cute little movie. I have the soundtrack to that as well. And this is one of those to where I would have no problem pushing that as a number 5. I'm gonna have a problem just picking 5. Adrian Brody and the Pianist. I just watched this movie again the last I know this year in 2025. Just brilliant. Brody was so good in this. The story was fantastic. I don't mean to like go. We're not going to get into detail on every single one of these, but I as we're going through, I can see how I'm going to struggle with this. Black Hawk Down. I visually just unbelievable. The pacing, just the adrenaline rush. This was done so this is one of those movies to where I can probably watch this once a month. It is one of my favorite movies. Lord of the Ring, Fellowship of the Ring. That's the what is it? The very first one. That's another 4.5 star. The Lord of the Rings, the whole kind of movie dual trilogy. It's all right. It's good. It's not one to where I feel the need to watch it a lot, but I think Peter Jackson's done a fantastic job with that. Band of Brothers. This is another one to where I'm like, okay, well, is this a movie? Are we going to consider this a movie? TV show, HBO. It's basically a movie. I have to watch this every year, and it's a special occasion. Like when everybody's gone for a few days on vacation, and I'm the only one in the house. That is like my either Band of Brothers home staycation or my Godfather 1 and 2, to where I sit at home, I order food for like 5 people, and I just binge. But Band of Brothers for me is such an emotionally, I get so attached to that movie that I may have to make a consideration, like if it's technically not a movie, it's a movie, but it has to. That's a movie. I I'm not. I may have to just put that at 5, no matter what. Now here's one to where I get a lot of people that roll their eyes at me. Shakespeare in Love. This was back 98, 97, 98. This was the movie, if you were around for the time, for the controversy that this won Best Picture over Saving Private Ryan, which for me is a 5-star movie. It's already in my 5-star list. And I know a lot of the war guys and a lot of the, guys that I usually talk to about movies or whatever, they always point to, hey, Saving Private Ryan got just robbed. And look, if it was between the two and I had to pick, I would certainly pick Saving Private Ryan. Uh, but Shakespeare in Love it's just a different movie. And I loved it. Now, is it gonna make it into the five? I don't think it'll make 5 star. And right now I'm kind of wondering, maybe do I move that back down to a 4 star? Because my 4.5s, I really want to be the ones to where I struggle with thinking about if it's a 5 star movie or not. So I'm thinking when we get off the live here, we're gonna move Shakespeare in Love down to a 4. And there's not any slight in moving down to a 4. 4 is a very highly rated movie. Life is Beautiful. Again, another movie that I get emotionally attached to. And I think on this one here, there's a certain for me, like from a father's perspective, if you've watched the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. So this one here, I can definitely see as a 5 star. I don't know right now. Is this the one of the top 5 within this group that would get pushed up? I don't know. It's not the top 1, but we'll see. Titanic. I know some people are like, "Are you kidding me?" I remember on the what was it, the 20th anniversary, where they re-released it at midnight at some theaters or whatever. I was there. I was at the midnight showing at the 20th anniversary by myself. There's just something about it. Every time it was on TV, every time that you would scroll through and it's on HBO or so, I would always stop and watch it. I've got it on physical media. I've got it, purchase it on Apple, iTunes, or whatever we call that. But I've got it on streaming as well. It's a comfort movie for me. Won a lot of awards, which that doesn't mean anything to us personally, but and then Kate and Leo. I love both of them as actors. So is it a 5 star movie in my world? We'll see. It's not at the top of this grouping, so maybe that tells me something. And then here we go with the ads again. That's the trick. If you've got software or an app and you want people to pay for it, just load it up with ads that just make it so unuser or just so user unfriendly that people get so pissed off, but they really want to use your stuff. These ads are just ridiculous on Letterboxd. Boogie Nights. I I already as I'm looking at this and talking about Boogie Nights, the cast within Boogie Nights, uh, John C. Riley. I mean, that's when I first was kind of exposed to him at the time. What a brilliant, one of my favorite actors. I think right now this is probably my top 1 of this grouping that's gonna for sure make it into my 5 star rating. Boogie Nights. Forrest Gump, what, 93, 94? So I was coming the end of high school or something. This movie here, it just I love it. Now, is it one that I have to watch every year or something? No. But every time I do watch, I'm like, damn, Tom Hanks is good. This movie is good. Lion King, the original animated. I really liked it. I think now as I'm seeing this and I'm talking about some of these other movies, we're gonna move that one down to a 4 star. Again, no slight to Lion King. Fantastic. This one and the next one, Beauty and the Beast, 2 animated Disney movies that I rate Beauty and the Beast probably higher than I do Lion King, but I rate them both very, very high. And as much as I am attached to Lion King, especially from a father perspective, Beauty and the Beast for me is just a special movie, especially from when I first saw it. And we'll get into all this stuff. We'll do some videos where we kind of dig into each one of these individually. But I think for sure, as I'm going through it now, Lion King will move down to a 4-star. Beauty and the Beast, and again, these are all going to be personal to you, personal to me. That Beauty and the Beast is almost a perfect movie for me, and the fact that I just said almost, maybe kind of that seals the fate of this here too, and that both of those are going to move down to a 4-star. Silence of the Lambs. Uh, Anthony Hopkins in this movie does it for me. Jodie Foster was really good, but Anthony Hopkins, I mean, unbelievable. And just thinking about this, and this is one to where, when's the last time I watched this? It's probably been a few years. I have to look at the log here. That's a great thing about the Letterboxd thing, is that when you log it each time, you can track it that way. It's not one to where I feel like I got to watch it every year. Kind of like with what are some of the movies we talked about earlier? Interstellar, 1917, Lost in Translation, Black Hawk Down. Those are all movies that I'm like, I watch at least once a year, if not a few times, to where you just have this desire to want to watch it again and again. Silence of the Lambs isn't that for me, but I think it is a solid 4-star movie. As I'm thinking about it, there's a couple moments in there that I kind of turn my head. I'm like, this is kind of goofy. And the fact that I even just remembered that as I'm talking about Silence Land, we're gonna move that one down to a 4-star as well when we get done with this. Empire Strikes Back. I would say easily the best of all the Star Wars movies. Is it a 5-star? Very good for a debate, for a video down the road. I don't think so, though. So I think after all this, we'll move that one down to a 4-star. And then the last two that we have, Godfather Part 2, and then It's a Wonderful Life. Those two movies, I just finished Godfather 2 again, I think last week. It was one of those situations where everybody was gone for 3 or 4 days from the house. So I had a Godfather 2 marathon and ate a bunch of great food. And I wanted to determine, it was a personal challenge for me because I had them both rated very high at 4.5 stars. I wanted to determine, I had to make the call, which one is better, Godfather or Godfather 2. And you can see Godfather is not on here. It's because I recently, after watching both, I moved Godfather down to a 4-star. Godfather 2 is a 2-star. I'm sorry. Godfather is a 4-star. Godfather 2 is the 4.5-star, and very much could be a 5-star movie. That one there, I've been wanting to do a video on there. I've got a really interesting angle that I want to talk about with Godfather 2. And so that one's a high contender to make it 5. And then finally, we have It's a Wonderful Life. This is a movie that I've watched. I mean, what I said, I'm 50 years old. And one of the things, come every Christmas time, this is one of the staples that I always watch. And I think every year that goes by, I become more emotionally attached to this movie. Whereas when I first kind of started and a little bit younger, I'm like, it's okay. I understand and appreciate it for where it is in movie history. But the more I watch it, I think it's just absolutely brilliant. And there's one scene in particular where they both are on the phone. That is one of this sounds weird, but it's one of the sexual, is it sexual tension? I don't know. There's an emotional tension between the two when they're on the phone side by side that really in the last 5 to 10 years have I been able to fully appreciate that particular scene. And that scene alone, for me, I'm like, this movie's special. So that's going to be in consideration there. So I think we did good tonight for this live. I was hoping to get through all the stars, but we talked quite a bit about just the 5-star movies. Let me know what you guys think about not only the 5-star movies that I have, which you can see earlier in the live, but my 4.5 stars that I am going to consider and narrow those down to 5 more. And I'm hoping, like I said, within a month or so, we'll have my full 5-star movies done. Doesn't mean they're always going to be locked in like that, but I feel like I need to have the 5 or the all 10 spots taken, just out of respect for the movies, right? And then we're going to clean up our 4.5 star movies. And there's probably not going to be very many of the 4.5 stars left. So the 4.5, all my half stars, we'll talk about this in another live or another video. My half stars are ones to where they're kind of in a holding position to where I need to do a little more thought on them, to where I'm not sure if it's a 4, not sure if it's a 5. And you're probably like, yeah, duh, Brian. 3.5 star movie. I'm not sure if it's a 3, not sure it's a 4, but it's designed that way. If I'm not totally sure, because some of these movies, I'm like, yeah, that's a 3. That's a 2. That's a 4. That's a 5. But the ones that I'm like, I go back and forth. I'm like, oh, maybe I need another watching or two on this. That's where you throw those half stars in, make you think about it. So again, this is why I love not only movies, but I love movies and organizing them and interacting with people on Letterboxd. If you're on Letterboxd, also come find me. We are TSP Total Entertainment. You can find me by my name on here, Brian Smatros or TSP Brian. And then if you do follow me, and I'm going to try to follow everybody back, it's just hard to keep up all the time with everything on YouTube and on Letterboxd or whatever. But if you do find me on Letterboxd and follow me, let me know. Send me a comment somewhere so it pops up, and then I'll follow you back on that. So that's our live show for this week. Looking forward to doing these at least once a week, because I mean, movies, music, entertainment, all that stuff, super fun to talk about, especially when you're talking with other people. And I look forward to doing that with everybody in this community going forward. So, all right, we'll see you guys on the next live.